Welcome everyone. My name is Minna Hallikainen and I come from Ericsson, Finland. I'm very happy today to be here with you in Mimmit Koda Women Code program to discuss with you about the communities. So this webinar today, it's about communities and experience sharing on communities of practice, COP. I will use that term maybe more often, this short one. It starts today with the very basics. Let's have some definition first, and then very practical, when to invite, when to participate, what to do in a community of practice, and especially when we talk about this community of practice meeting, when we gather together more people to discuss and agree or share learnings and so on. But this part will be followed by the 8 success factors that we have identified throughout the years in our communities at our work. And this is a topic that I have been discussing throughout the years several times internally and externally, and today I have noticed that when we have so many new people on the branch, and thinking about our company, so many people, new people there, I have found out that this is actually a very relevant topic to start to discuss more again. And yeah, I hope that during this session we will together find what's the actual power of the community, what's in it there for you and for me and all the people. This is very beginner level. I try to keep things simple. And today our interaction will be that, okay, I'm here sharing my thinking and my experience, and then you have the possibility to put your questions and comments into the chat. And we have a couple of specific moments during this session when we will look into these questions and comments, and Sanna will help me to answer these and a bit structure that what are there to be answered. But okay, that's about what we are going to do today. And thinking about then a bit, who am I here to share these experiences and talk about this topic? So very quickly want to show you my career story, not into details, but because I'm here with Mimmit Koda program, I would like to start telling you that, hey, I have started my career already in 1986. I was at that time a bit more than 20 years. And I joined our local IT unit. At that time, we had this within the company. And I started as an IT designer. And my first coding languages have been COBOL and Kiks-COBOL. Editor was Xedit. We were working in mainframe environment. There wasn't any sort of personal computer like we have nowadays. Those came for us in the 1990s. And what else? Yeah, we run the patch runs. So we needed to wait overnight, always the results and so on. I was there also establishing our first ever IT help desk, the one famous ones which are nowadays globally and outsourced from the companies. But at that time I already started to train. My first experiences from training and speaking have been this teaching others to how to use some IT tools and IT systems and so on. And when you look at this journey, after moving to R&D, first working as a team leader and then project manager, then since 2006 working as a line manager, a closest manager to software developers, coaches, POs, and so on. I haven't been coding, but when you once go there and you have the logic and the mentality, it remains. So in that sense, it's nice to be here today with you to talk about this. And yes, communities, they came for us along Agile and Lean when we really first started to realize that, hey, this is something we want to introduce in our way of working and in our way of thinking and taking our product development and service development further. Of course, based on these experiences and great new things that we did, I started to speak about this throughout the years in several conferences also. But then I have been as a trainer in something like E3 intensive coaching program. It comes from enabling, empowering, and emotional, getting something more into the work when thinking that we work in communities. And I'm also one trainer in our product development leadership training, and have got some recognitions there. But okay, now 2021, we are in a crossroad. What is the new inspirational way of working after this period of working more or less alone from home? But hey, just that we get some connection, a bit more why I'm talking about this. But hey, now let's move on. So community means that people work together naturally. And there are some differences when you talk about community or when you talk about project teams or formal working groups. So community is a group of people who share a concern, set of problems or passion about a topic. And they want to share this discussion on regular basis. Either to solve these problems, either to develop something regarding decisions, what, for example, tools to take into use or what kind of frameworks or processes to introduce, or simply just learn together. Some people know maybe a bit more, some people a bit less, then it's good to share these. And then when I talk about community of practice, then that is the interaction itself. So community is the people, community of practice is the interaction. And that's all about this discussion and sharing and learning together. And when we are working as communities, then all the communities, they are always open, and the members choose themselves. It means basically that whenever you are interested in a topic, you are very welcome to join the discussion, even though you know a bit more or a bit less. And communities, they hold together as long as there is a passion or commitment. As long as this is felt that, hey, we need this kind of discussion, we need this kind of interaction. And one more thing, what is important to realize when we talk about interacting, we easily, when we think about COPs, we easily go that, okay, it's the meeting. And today I will talk quite a lot about the meetings, or you can think that they are meetings, but it's all kinds of interaction. It's when we discuss in person, when we have discussed in chats or chat rooms, when we share in these collaboration tools, we use Wiki, we can use Jira, we can use whatever kind of tools. And many times we need to prepare some material for the common discussion, for the common decision. That is also seen as community of practice whenever we interact together. Then it's good to a bit reflect towards formal groups and maybe project teams. So these groups are more like the purpose is to accomplish a task, deliver a product or service, and usually the members are assigned by their managers, and people are reporting to managers. And what keeps these or holds these groups together is either it can be some job requirement or some common goal, some project milestone. There is agreed end and agreed start and ending, and the purpose is to be together during that period. And formal groups, many times they last until the next reorganization, no matter if you maybe need it or not. But this is the way that people are, structuring themselves. But community is more like community is need space. Communities comes and goes. Maybe some words still. Informal networks, someone might think that these are a bit of similar than communities, but there is a difference. These networks, they are usually for collecting and passing on business information. Your connections might be, of course, or they are usually your business connection, or they can be your friends. These networks, you usually have some mutual need, and these networks exist as long as people have reason to connect. So it's a bit towards this, but it's not the same as what we mean with community. Okay, is this black and white? Are we working only as in communities or are we purely on these project teams and so on? This is really not black and white. Usually we need both. We need to have some structure in our organizations when we develop products or services or whatever our branch is. We need the structure, but then again, communities enable and give people more, this kind of ownership feeling and empowerment and all this, that, hey, we can share together, we can learn together, we can decide together. Yes, and for these COPs, there are success factors then, that what are good and what are bad, and I will come to that soon. But a couple of other things first for this definition part. And sometimes I have been in situations when people are thinking that, how do I then start to work in this community of practice? That when to invite? Okay, is it a meeting, or is it just invite the discussion, start sharing in chats that, hey, we would need to get some more information on this, or we would need to solve something. Whenever the topic that you have in mind or something that you want to do, it has an impact to other teams or other people in overall, then that's a very natural place to start inviting this kind of a community that, hey, now something will happen. We need to gather together and take this further together. You need people to discuss with, you need people to decide something, or you just need to start sharing. Here you have already, or here, you have already the 8 success factors, and these are the ones that I will soon discuss more about. But before that, sometimes we also have been in situations that people are wondering that, okay, should I participate now? And my very obvious answer to that is that participate whenever you are interested in something. If you feel that you would gain some knowledge, you would learn something, or you already know a lot about the topic, join and help others to get further, and others gain knowledge. Again, there is this if you have the topic has impact on your own work or your own team's work, then that's very, very natural. Maybe I need to explain a bit more on this, that you are invited due to your specific knowledge and competence. There has been sometimes situations when people have been thinking that, okay, the community of practice discussion is now on something that I already know this. Maybe I'm not sure participating now. But then it's good to stop and think that maybe I know so much that it's important that I will join. I will help the others. I will help the whole community to progress. So that's very, very basic but good thing to remember. So these are the very basics that I mentioned. But sometimes when we live in this very hectic world, there's so many things in our mind, so many tasks to do, and so on. So sometimes we maybe forget to stop, and maybe we can help others also. But hey, okay, now you have decided to join the discussion. What to do then? This is important, at least I feel this is very important, that when you participate, is it a meeting or is it a chat discussion or preparing this material or whatever, participate actively. The best thing is that if you can participate the discussion, but you can participate also by just giving some, somehow showing that you are there. And that of course requires that when we talk about open communities, it means that the assumption or the thinking is that you can feel the ownership of the topic, even though you are not maybe the most experienced expert there. But you can take this feeling and you can take this authority. You can speak, you can express your opinions, you can express your questions, your thinking that, hey, would this work this way or that way? It's totally okay also to have different viewpoints, that maybe the ones who are presenting or sharing their viewpoints a bit more strong way. But this is the one power of community, that we accept all aspects, all viewpoints, all opinions. Then we of course need to a bit balance that what is the good way to go forward. Sometimes we have very, very good facts that we can rely on. Sometimes it's a bit like a feeling. In this world where we live, everything goes so fast forward. Many times we actually don't have all the facts on the table. So we just need to base some decisions on our gut feelings. So, of course, one very important thing here is when you are there, when the aim is to decide, then you also agree how to go forward, who is taking the action, how to follow up this, so that after these discussions, everyone feels that, okay, we discussed, we decided, and now we all know what will happen next. Good. Okay, these were this first part, a bit of defining that what do we mean with community and community of practice. And next, I will go to these stories and these real life experiences more through these success factors. But at this point, if you might have some questions or comments on communities or COPs in overall? I could answer. I can see in the chat Sanna has posted that you all are very welcome, and if you want to ask something, feel free to write your questions there. This is our way of interacting today. But we can also take these then at the end, so you get more time to think about your questions or comments. But okay, then there is nothing special now at this point, so let's go forward. So as said, those of us who have experience on these communities, and if there are some of you maybe have been there for years, you know there are lots of stories and lots of different kind of discussions and nice topics, and something has gone very good and something hasn't been that successful and so on. And during the years we have also done these studies. I have been there myself together with other university professors, and we have written a couple of papers and in a couple of conferences. This, for example, this XP agile software development. We have been there discussing about this topic. So actually, these 8 success factors comes from that time, but they are really relevant. And the way I now like to go through this is that I will go these through one by one. And naturally, you need to have a very interesting topic. So the people you are working with, they share this interest to something. And it usually has also then some really good benefit, concrete benefit to the participants. One good finding over the years for these topics has been finding the right momentum. Sometimes it has been so that we have been a bit too eager to sort of starting a community in our organization and starting to discuss some topics which are really not yet there. And people are a bit wondering why, okay, I don't know about this. Should we now discuss this or should we discuss later? And in the first place, we made we agreed that for some topic, okay, let's establish, we invite a COP meeting because we are now community. And then we ended up in the situation that we had from each of the development teams 1 or 2 participants, and they were a bit like sharing their statuses there and nothing else. So then we started to think that, okay, this was no use. But whenever there came a relevant topic, like for example, continuous integration, when you are coding and you are committing your code to the common code base, then you need this continuous integration to check that the legacy is not broken. And when our people started to realize that, hey, this is, by the way, now very important for us to understand how we take this forward, how we visualize this and all of that, then this community really started to fly. But to take away from this interesting topic and the benefit is that COP is always need-based. So if you don't feel that people are really into this discussion, then leave it on. I mean, or let it go. That was the better expression. Passionate leader is the next topic here. And the most successful communities have been around when we have had 1 person or 2 persons or a couple of them who really feel that, hey, this topic is something really important and they are eager to take that forward. Many times these people by nature have some sort of a charisma or something that, they take people with them. We need these people so that we get maybe the more of the silent ones, because I think in every community we have the more strong and the more silent ones, but they all have lots of information, so it just needs to be shared. And here I have some examples to get this even more concrete. In the early years, Maija she had a real worry on how feature verification will be handled in these agile teams. Because, when we are working on the features, then sometimes when we are no, it happens to me. I'm starting to lose my English words, even though it's my official language at work. But this is how we are. We are humans. How we take this feature verification forward in the teams. So she started to walk around the corridors. She started to talk with people in person. She started to take up this in different forums, in different chats, in collecting information into Wiki and so on. And she got people to really inspired and listening and solving the problems. The other example was Ville and Kalle. And they were so inspired on this continuous integration as a new mindset for our teams, that they took others to really, they continued sharing this light that they had seen, so that the others really started to understanding the meaning of it. They had, I think it went so that they had first the gatherings, the physical meetings, even on daily basis. Just a short one, but just to check that if there are some challenges with some teams or something that they want to take up. And the third example here is Matti, who got inspired on visualizing the test results. And this visualizing of something, that is one of my favorite topics. So these test results, seeing them really in different formats, they could see a bit like statistics, that how they are doing. And that got the whole community to understand that, hey, here we have our strong points, here we have something that is maybe not working that well. And then they started to work on those. So just a couple of examples on passionate leaders. Proper agenda and the clear purpose. Why do we need that? Of course, like in whatever meetings, like in whatever discussions, we need to know what we discuss about. And especially we need to know if this is just a knowledge sharing, if this is just learning from each other, or if this is really aiming for some decision that we today need to decide something. So when inviting people to discuss, always prepared material, clearly express the expectation, and then I would say that you will secure high participation and the whole discussion, the whole community of practice is well respected also. One very important thing here that I have learned over the years is that also the participants, if you are a participant in that sense that there are these people who are inviting you, so be prepared also beforehand. Check the material, check your own thinking, your own thoughts, that hey, what do I actually think about this? And while discussing, give your opinions, be there, and the whole discussion and the decision will be much more going smoothly forward, and it helps the meeting be very efficient. So that kind of things I want to share on the proper agenda. Then when we go further to decision-making authority, this is especially in large-scale organization where I come from. It is a hot topic in that sense that there are so many different parties, there are so many different organizations having their view. We need to listen to customer requirements. We need to understand the big pictures on the topics that we are talking about, and of course we need to have some sort of frameworks that what is decided on different levels, because there many times are different level of seeing the whole big picture. But the first challenge here, when thinking that we were working in a very traditional way before, a bit like in this waterfall one taking this part, the next one taking that part, and then continues to another. People were very much used that someone else made the decisions. There were always some managers, always some sort of higher people saying that, okay, this is the decision and now you follow this. And to change this to community decision, that requires a bit from both parties, so to say. Those who are used to decide things, they need to give up, they need to step back, they need to give room for the experts. And then the experts need to, at some point, at the same time, understand that, hey, now in the community way of working, it's us who decide. We share the knowledge that we have. We share the facts. We share the gut feelings. How do we think that would be the best way forward, and then take the decision. One example here is that, again, when going to these feature verification, which seems to be today my favorite topic, there was a person called Pekka, and he was really into getting some specific decision done in what kind of tools and what kind of process they will use in certain phase. And in this COP discussion, we were in the meeting. We were all, because it was open community, there were lots of real experts who are doing that work as their daily work. But then there are some other people like product owners or scrum masters at that time, or team coaches, and there were also us closest managers. But we all were there as participants with no real, I wasn't there in my manager role. Like today, I'm here just one of this Mimmit Koda community to talk about these experiences. So when the time came that the decision was to be made, it happened that some people started to look around that, okay, who will now take this decision? And we others who were a bit more like on decision side before, then we were just looking around and waiting. We didn't say anything because we wanted these experts to take the decision. And then it happened. They realized that, hey, no one is going to decide this on behalf of us, and then they went there and made the decision. And afterwards, the feeling was really great in both sort of all sides of, or all aspects, all participants, that hey, this is the way. And that is the way that we today highlight also. Of course, there needs to be some frameworks, some things that comes that we cannot decide that much in the community, but usually the how part. How do we develop this customer requirement? That is one very good example on what is decided by the communities, and of course discussed in the teams. All right, hey, open community. That is the next one. I think I have discussed this quite much already. So by now, everyone of us now knows that everyone in the organization is really welcome. And then if there are some people who are not maybe aware of this, that there is this kind of a community and this discussion topic is ongoing, you can just pass on the invitation, invite other people. And one experience around this is that when you think about open community and inviting a lot of people, depending now on the sizes of people that you are working with, for us it meant sometimes that we had to, or in our invitees list there were something like 100 people. So then started these discussions. What if wrong people join? And then we were like, okay, wrong people, who are the wrong people? We don't have any wrong people. Everyone is welcome. But the fear is that if there are such decisions to make, that we don't have those people who know a lot about the topic. Because sometimes we might be in the situation that those people who want to more learn on the topic join, and they are. It might be a bit unfair to put them to decide. So that can be one worry. And when having big open communities, sometimes there was some worries that what if no one comes? Then I'm there alone waiting that, hey, come and join me. I want to share something, or I would like to have this decision. But these are just natural. We are humans. We need this kind of experiences, and we need a bit of empathy and this kind of humanness there also. But all in all, usually every discussion goes fine. Sometimes you just need to think more or prepare more, but usually it is going along very well. Okay, tools. Create transparency. Especially now when we have been, most of us on this IT branch, we have been remote working for last more than a year, and probably we will continue, at least we will continue. So we have learned a lot about these tools, especially these collaboration tools. And also we have gained a lot of experience on video meetings, which at some point wasn't that obvious. It was more like, okay, is it a video meeting today? Or it was more like telcos and teleconferences. But one thing I would like to talk here about the current situation and my own experience since mid-March 2020. One topic that is a lot discussed is the camera or not? But when you work in a community and if your community is such that you all are isolated at homes or you cannot really yet work in the office, so what is your way of interacting with people? It is about, okay, we have chats, we have our wikis, we have phones, we have possibilities to discuss in Teams, Zooms, Google Meet, all these nice tools that we have nowadays. But really, I mean, what I try to do today, even though I'm not seeing you, I'm really, I have a feeling that I'm looking you in the eye. I have a feeling that you are there with me. So there are people who are interested in this, and you want to hear my sharing. But I do understand that there are some challenges, of course, sometimes when you use, for example, some other device than or operating system than Windows. You might not be able to put the background picture, and you don't want to show your home, or you might have some bandwidth problems. Yeah, these are real things, and some people are just shy. But I have an experience during this year that those people who didn't first want to do this, didn't first want to show themselves, they have learned it. And especially if there are team sort of smaller group of people, smaller community, then it's maybe easier. But this is a topic I want to take up, that just somehow encourage people to show up and try out. If it feels really bad, then it's not mandatory. We cannot put anyone to very bad situation for themselves. But all in all, this time of era has put us more on equal, and we all work like this. But sometimes, someday when we are more, or those of you who are working in the office, take the opportunity to meet people face to face and have this discussion more that you can see each other. Suitable rhythm, I mentioned at some point, it's all about this momentum, the relevant timing, and sometimes it is based on the experience. What you get when you first start your community and start discussing, start interacting and having this community of practice, that at some point you might need, depending on the topic, daily basis or weekly basis. Then later on, maybe it's bi-weekly or monthly is good for this specific topic. But it's important here to remember that these communities, they come and go, like said in the beginning, because the philosophy of communities and community of practice is not to continue if there is really real passion or need to take it forward. Cross-site participation when needed, yes. Nowadays, like I already discussed about this time that we live now, is that we are really much more in that sense closer to each other, that it is easy to connect via these collaboration tools. But yeah, the experience in the first years was such that especially in global company, when you work in several different countries, then you all together develop the same product or service. You need to be there together in these discussions. So it's easy to discuss in local corridors, but then again you need, and the others at the other country or other site, if you have, for example, in Finland, you might be working in a company where you have many offices, so that the others from the other offices are possible to join the same discussions too. And over the years we have used tools like video connections in the team areas, so that in the team area, even on daily discussions, people have been able to discuss to this other site. And now one very important topic is that whenever we are again in more office mode, or I think many companies talk about this hybrid models, that some parts of or some days of the week you work in the home office, some parts of the week you work in in your company office and so on. So how do we develop and get some more tools to support us in totally new situations? So that is part of the current discussion on the new, I wouldn't say new normal. I would like to talk about new inspirational way of working, to find more different types of ways of doing our work in very motivated and good way. It usually makes us be more effective, also feeling that we get things forward when we can do it in a really nice way which benefits us. But hey, in all, I think this starts to be all that I have today. We have some 15 minutes still left, and yes, I can see that there are some polls that Sanna has put in the chat, and now if we have some questions or comments you would like to take up. Yeah, I can see. I think the communities could support people to find ways of developing their own work, for example. Yes, I think communities can be, I mean, it can be for so many things. It's I easily talk about teams because it comes from my background that we work in teams, but it is, I do agree. Some other questions, comments? I can see that Sanna, you have put here nicely, is there something that would help you with your work or free time? Easily I connect this to work, but sometimes because I'm quite active in some of my spare time hobbies, so it would be good to introduce some community thinking and the same ideas there. But then on the other hand, yeah, depends on the topic and the area. Meanwhile, you probably think about what to ask or comment. I can share that I have written a blog post on this. It can be, here is a link, and I think this link can be shared afterwards with this recording and the material, but it can be found from Ericsson's blog. I wrote it already 2017, but it's quite much about the same. So maybe about this challenge, there might be something more. But it's something like 4-minute read. So that is also something that if you want to introduce this community way of working and thinking in your work, your organization, or whatever area you want to take it, then you can use this blog post also, just to share with the others that hey, this is what I'm talking about. So I wanted to include that here also. But okay, it seems like at the moment there are not that much questions. So yeah, what shall we do? Shall we just thank you all? And it was nice to discuss about this. And later on, you can find me in LinkedIn, Minna Hallikainen. And if you want to ask something more, you want to discuss this, you want to connect with me, now you at least know one person more who is working in our company. But maybe more, I'm like I nowadays I was asked that what is it for me when sharing and teaching? It is that I mean, it's about giving. it's about sharing and caring. So it's very nice to discuss these things with other people, and because I'm very people oriented, and I get my energy from discussing with people. I'm always willing to discuss these topics. But okay, thank you all for today, and those of you who see the recording later on, I hope you gained some good thinking here, and hopefully you got more on this power of communities. So thank you.